Welcome back to another Project Rebirth review. Today we're going to take a look at another Spin Masters 4-inch figure, this time the Robin figure. Not sure exactly which one this is, but I suspect it's Damian Wayne, or it could be like a composite of multiple Robins. Let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, here's a look at the front of the box. And here's a look at the back of the box. It shows the figure in a fighting pose. And on the right hand side it says, which mission will you get? Showing the different locations in which there are different stories or missions regarding the action figures in this line. Alright, let's get this Robin out of the box and see what accessories we got. Let's open the first one. Looks like we got a fighting stick. And a sword. And a grapple gun. So it looks like instead of being a Skrima stick, this looks like perhaps it's supposed to be some type of bow staff then. Alright, here's the figure out of the box. It looks really cool, but I do have to tell you that off camera I struggled quite a bit because the figure kept wanting to tip backwards. And I did finally get it to pose fairly decently where he's not leaning too far forward. But that was an initial impression that was unfortunately slightly negative. Alright, let's take a quick look at articulation. Figure's head can turn all the way around. Doesn't really move up or down at all. Arms can extend to the shoulder to about 90 degrees. Bending at the elbow again to 90 degrees. No waist movement. Die cut. Knees can bend to approximately 90 degrees. And the figure can extend outwards to do the splits. No more movement at the foot at all. So somewhat limited articulation, but for a figure this size, better than most. And here we can just take an up-close look at the accessories that come with the figure. There is the grapple gun. Hold it here so you can see the handle as well. The sword. And the bow stick. Alright, let's take a 360 look at Robin. Here's Robin alongside the 4-inch Spin Master Batman that came with the Batmobile. And one problem becomes readily apparent, which is that Robin and Batman seem to be nearly the same height. I believe Robin may be a little bit shorter. But, you know, that like I said, this Robin appears facially to look like Damian Wayne. But here, he's far too tall to be standing side by side as Robin next to Batman. But it's a very cool looking figure. And for further height comparison, here's the two figures back to back. And here he is with the Rebirth Tactical Batman. And again, here's the figures back to back. Here's Robin alongside the Batcycle. And here's Robin on the Batcycle. All right, so here's my final thoughts with regard to the Spin Masters 4-inch Robin. First of all, I want to let you know that in addition to being sold individually, such as the way that I purchased this Robin, it's also available in a 2-pack with Nightwing. I'm going to start the conclusion with some cons. Number one would be my complaint would be the accessories. I think they're really just okay. Some of them look pretty cheap, or again, the grapple gun, in my opinion, seems oversized for the size and scale of the figure. Another problem I had, and you'll see it probably in some of the photographs, is right on the figure's nose, there's a little bit of green paint, and also some green paint in the white parts of his mask in the eyes. So some sloppy paint work. Another problem is that the figure, this figure is too tall for what Robin should be. He's not in scale with Batman. Batman should be much taller, or at least somewhat taller than Robin, and not nearly the same height. Another complaint or criticism would be that I think that the price of $7.99, which is what it is at Target and other stores, is too high. Although I would note that some people are gouging and charging $20 for this figure on Amazon, and that is absolutely too high. But in my opinion, I think $5 to $6 would be more appropriate for this figure. I think the figure could use a little bit more shading and paint work. For example, on the laces of the boot, perhaps that could be a different shade of green, or on the vest here. Just some suggestions that they could have made this cooler. But then that also opens the door for some custom work. So there is potential there. And the last one's not really a flaw of this figure in particular, but some people might just not be into the 4-inch scale. But you know that when you get into it and make the purchase. So those are some of the cons, and I just have a couple of positives, but I think they do outweigh the negatives. Number one is the great sculpt of this figure. This figure really looks like it just jumped right off the pages of a comic book. It really looks comic accurate and very, very well done. Another positive would be the good articulation of the figure for this scale. And the last one's really a little bit more intangible, but it really truly is the fun factor of these figures. There's a certain charm to these Spin Master figures that's kind of somewhat addicting, and it reminds me very much reminiscent of the Batman Missions figure line and how much fun that line was. And there really is a very much a fun element to these small figures, that strongly applies to the adult collector as well, and not just kids. So, if you don't mind the 4-inch scale, and if you are collecting in this line, you absolutely don't want to miss picking up Robin. So should you buy this one? Absolutely, hell yes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Project Rebirth review.